Trust us, that scene made way more sense in the book. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst changes the Harry Potter movies made. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the moments from the Harry Potter films that were altered, removed, or added from the original source material, and discussing the negative effect they had on the film adaptation. Since we will be discussing major plot points from both media, be advised that there are spoilers ahead. Number 10. Dumbledore yelling at Harry. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Known for being soft-spoken and contemplative, the novels describe Dumbledore calmly asking Harry if he had put his name into the Goblet of Fire. However, when that slip of paper with Harry's name on it emerged from the goblet in the film, Dumbledore screamed at Harry while sprinting across the room to grab and practically shake the poor boy.
Harry!
I protest!
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the older students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
The scene not only became a meme, but came to represent a change in tone many of the fans of the books were unhappy with. This much angrier Dumbledore, played by Michael Gambon, was in stark contrast to the perfectly cast Richard Harris, who died after playing Dumbledore in the first two films. Number 9. The Maze. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The final challenge of the Triwizard Tournament was a daunting maze filled with creatures that would not only test the champions' magical and physical abilities, but also their intellect.
In the maze, you'll find no dragons or creatures of the deep. Instead, you'll face something even more challenging.
Well, at least that's what happened in the book, as the only true obstacle of that part of the challenge in the film is the maze itself. The movie also removes a number of noteworthy creatures, including a Bogart, a blast-ended Scroot, and a giant spider. The most interesting one of all is the Sphinx. The beast gave Harry a choice of answering his riddle or walking away, and had he answered it wrong, he would have been on the wrong end of the Sphinx's claws. Number 8. Cutting Dudley's character growth. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. An important theme in the Harry Potter novels was that everyone possessed the ability to change, even those who were raised learning hatred and bigotry. A perfect example of this was Harry's cousin and childhood bully Dudley Dursley. After years of tormenting Harry, Dudley experienced a major change of heart, standing up for him as they finally parted ways in the final book, and expressing gratitude for Harry saving him from a Dementor. This moment was even shot for the film, but the emotional goodbye ended up as a deleted scene.
I don't think you're a waste of space.
Thanks.
Number 7. Fewer house elf subplots. Various. Throughout the series, author J.K. Rowling featured a large amount of social commentary on how wizards treated other magical races, with perhaps the most prominent example being the treatment of house elves.
Dobby is used to death threats, sir. Dobby gets them 5 times a day at home.
In the films, however, most of the subplots surrounding house elves and their treatment were completely cut. Winky and Spew were totally absent, while Creature's role was drastically reduced as well.
Away with you!
Of course, Master. Creature lives to serve the noble house of Black.
That said, no elf got a worse deal than Dobby. While he appears in almost every novel, and was a significant part of the second film, he didn't reappear until just before his death in the 7th movie.
Help me!
Such a beautiful place.
The house elf subplots also directly affected Ron and Hermione's first kiss in the final book. Number 6. Cutting the Potions Challenge. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The first Harry Potter movie, directed by Chris Columbus, was notable for adapting the book largely beat for beat, so it's very strange that this pivotal part of the first book's climax is one of the few things omitted from the first adaptation.
It's too simple. Oh, go on, Harry! If Snape could catch it on that old broomstick, you can.
One of the challenges protecting the Philosopher's Stone was a potion puzzle set up by Snape and solved by Hermione. This change not only made Hermione not following Harry into the final room nonsensical, but it robbed viewers of seeing the creative and interesting puzzle that prioritized intellect and logic above magical ability.
I have to go on.
You'll be okay, Harry. You're a great wizard. You really are.
Not as good as you.
Number 5. Not explaining the Marauders. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. In the 3rd book, readers were introduced to the backstory of the Marauders and the mysterious map they created.
Read it.
Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs offer their compliments to Professor Snape.
The Marauders were credited on the map as Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs in both media, but their true identities were never revealed in the film. In the book, however, readers discovered that the Marauders were in fact Harry's father James and his best friends Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew.
Remus? Sirius? My old friend!
The loss of this context lessens the impact of Prisoner of Azkaban's ending, and makes Lupin and Sirius later becoming father figures for Harry less emotionally rewarding.
It's cruel that I got to spend so much time with James and Lily and you so little.
Number 4. Omitting St. Mungo's and Neville's parents, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. While Order of the Phoenix was the longest book in the series, it was one of the shortest movies, ultimately cutting many important events. The attack on Arthur Weasley is confusingly sped through, and Harry's visit to the wizard hospital, St. Mungo's, is completely absent. While at the hospital, Harry and his friends run into Neville Longbottom and his parents, who are permanent residents after being tortured into insanity. The tragic look into Neville's backstory was crucial to understanding his character and his growth into a true hero in the final book. The omission also robbed viewers of a hilarious Gilderoy Lockhart cameo that was a fitting final fate for the charlatan. Number 3. Leaving out key characters, Various. Winky and Neville's parents weren't the only characters who didn't make it to the big screen. The Hogwarts poltergeist Peeves and the ghost Professor Binns were both missing, as were Rodolphus Lestrange and a number of other Death Eaters. Even Ludo Bagman was never even mentioned. Many family members are cut as well, such as Tonk's parents and Voldemort's ancestors, the Gaunts. Dumbledore's sister, Ariana, and her tragic backstory are missing as well, aside from a brief cameo in a painting.
My brother sacrificed many things, Mr. Potter, on his journey to find power, including Ariana.
Similarly, Charlie Weasley was only seen for a fleeting moment, but he was far from the only Weasley to be shortchanged in the films. Number 2. Lessening Ron's importance, Various. Though she was fierce, hilarious, and smart in the books, Ginny Weasley became rather boring and one-dimensional in the films. However, things were even worse for her brother Ron. Despite being one of the 3 central characters, Ron was largely relegated on screen to being the comic relief.
My wand! Look at my wand!
More importantly, he could connect with both Harry and Hermione in a way they never could with each other, and was the glue holding the group together. By losing these elements of both Ron and Ginny's characters, Harry and Hermione are inadvertently made into possibly the most interesting couple of the film's adaptations. A scene added to the 7th film where they share a dance would further fan their ship as flames. Before we unveil our top pick, here's some honourable mentions.
Ha! Another Weasley. I know just what to do with you. Gryffindor!
should have realised, Peter, that if Voldemort didn't kill you, then we would. Together. No!
Number 1. Voldemort's death. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Voldemort was obsessed with seeking power and attaining immortality. However, he consistently failed to realize that true power lies not within oneself, but in the love we give and receive from others. His final battle was altered considerably for an ending that sacrificed this important message for something more visually stimulating. During Voldemort's final moments in the film, he was slowly destroyed and faded away gradually, making him seem like a divine being. However, the books emphasize that he died like a human, and rather unremarkably, Voldemort's death in the book proved that, in the end, he was just a man.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.
Since we will be discussing major plot points from both media, be advised that there are spoilers ahead. Same for 5. The Marauders were credited on the map as Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs in both media. But their true identities were never revealed in the film. Okay, thank you.